Happy weekend, rockers! Welcome back to Bloody F Mess Official. It's been a minute. Been visiting with family and taking care of some other stuff behind the scenes, but I do promise to have more awesome rock tales coming up real soon. Have been whitewater rafting the last couple days. Got to do some fun stuff today, including meet actor and rocker Keanu Reeves. From the band Dogstar. So that was cool today. Saw the new Beetlejuice movie the other night. How have you guys been, huh? I've got a story tonight in my series of me pissing off certain rockers. And one of those stories that I kind of have a problem with being honest about, but I feel like transparency is kind of pertinent, and I think transparency is important. And you know, it just is what it is. We all make mistakes, and I'm here to say I've made plenty, right? So the disclaimer is I'm just telling the tale. This is another chapter in my video book, and it's about James Williamson of the Stooges, as in Iggy Pop and the Stooges. I've been a lifelong fan of the Stooges, like many of you guys. And when I got to see Iggy and the Stooges reunion tour, it was definitely, without a doubt, one of the very best, if not the very best shows I've ever seen in my life. And that story is coming soon from me and Sister Tracy. We've been promising that one for a while. But I did see them again after Ron Ashton passed away. Rest in peace, Ron Ashton. You're being remembered. What a great dude. You can find my interview with Stooges guitarist Ron Ashton at my other YouTube channel. It's called The Church of Rock, all one word. And you can go there and subscribe, please, and find my interview from, I think, 2003 with Ron Ashton. Look it up, Derek Moody, which is my radio name. You can look up Bloody Mess 2 interviews Ron Ashton. It'll pop up for you. Also, if you take a second and subscribe to this channel, I'd be really happy, guys, and maybe like it, comment, and share. So when I see the guys reunite in 2010 in Chicago, it was the Stooges' second reunion tour. Ron Ashton is gone from the earth, but of course the great Mike Watt was on bass, rock action on the drums, you know, Scott Ashton, and James Williamson returned to the fold to reproduce the sounds from the music he created with the Stooges back in the day. And that was indeed another insanely great, epic show and one of the best I've ever seen, right? And it was cool to see James Williamson perform because he'd been the stuff of legend in many books. And let's face it, if you're a Stooges aficionado and you know a lot of trivia stuff about Iggy and the boys, you know there was a lot of dark stuff surrounding Iggy and the Stooges. James Williamson purportedly is the guy that turned Iggy Pop onto the smack, and basically, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've read in books and heard in different accounts. So when he brought James into the fold, Ron Ashton was denoted to being a bass player instead of a guitar player. James was brought in. It was kind of like, here he is. He's our new guy. But he was also Iggy's kind of, well, party buddy, let's just put it mildly. And there's a lot of stuff in books about James Williamson, too, that's not real flattering. Like, a lot of people in the music scene said he was a dark entity, albeit talented on guitar and whatnot, but a dark cat, and that was into the dark, heavy drug kind of stuff. And a lot of people didn't have a lot of good things to say in those books, right? So I always thought he was fascinating in that regard, in a dark way. But James Williamson, man, like when Iggy Pop was, I believe, in that mental hospital for quite a long time, he was able to get a reprieve for a couple of days. And James Williamson, I believe, is the one that orchestrated that with Iggy Pop. And Iggy was able to get discharged from this place where he was getting a lot of help, not just with rehab, with substance abuse, but for mental issues and whatnot. Well, they actually got Iggy out for a couple days and recorded the Kill City album. And man, it's a great record. So James Williamson, if you're watching this, I'm not trying to piss you off a second time, but I want to tell the tale of how I pissed off James Williamson from the Stooges. This is embarrassing, guys, but I'm just going to come clean. I've been hosting a radio show called The Church of Rock for almost 25 years come Halloween, right? And I've interviewed a lot of people, including, like I said, Ron Ashton of the Stooges, and hundreds of others. Not bragging, just telling you the story. Well, I decided, man, I would like to interview James Williamson. After all, we are friends on Facebook. Friends, you know what I'm saying? So I reached out to James Williamson. This must have been, I'm going to guess, the year 2014. 2013, 14, 15, around there, 2014. And I'm broadcasting on KSKQ Radio, where I'm at currently in Ashland, Oregon, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time. You can listen live at kskq.org, kskq.org. So I line it up. James Williamson was cool about it. I said, man, I'd love to have you on the show for maybe a half hour, 45-minute chat, talk about the old days and what's going on now with the Stooges being back together and touring, in the recent past, that kind of thing. And he said, yeah, man, great. So I thought, cool. And that was my chance to get to know more about this guy and ask him stuff in my line of questioning. And, well, the big night came. I'd been promoting it, right? James Williamson, I'm going to interview another member of the Stooges. I'm so stoked. One of my favorite bands of all time, Iggy and the Stooges. Let's give it up for Iggy Pop. If you're an Iggy Pop and Stooges fan, leave a comment below. So the big night comes. It's been promoted. I'm excited. I don't usually write questions on paper. I usually have a conversation and let it take its own form, like go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? Well, the big night came. All of a sudden, the time came where I was supposed to call James Williamson and Mr. Airhead me. I go by the name of Reverend Derek Moody on the radio, and I am, by the way, I'm an ordained minister. I almost said priest. I'm an ordained non-denominational minister, and I've performed dozens and dozens and dozens of marriage ceremonies, and I am available in the state of Oregon. Just hit me up in my email below. I do marriages, yes, weddings. So the time came, I blew it, and next thing you know, an hour goes by, and I realize what time it is. I'm like, oh my gosh. I completely, in the first time in decades, forgot to call a guest when I told them I was going to call them. So I frantically grabbed the phone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an hour late. I'm an hour freaking late. This guy's going to be just livid, or he's going to be forgiving. Well, I get James on the phone. I explain immediately what happened. Hey, man, I've been doing this for decades. This has never happened. It'll never happen again. I completely apologize. Even if we have to cut the interview in half, could we at least do that in order to save the interview? I mean, I'm pulling out all my sales skills, man. I'm trying real hard to save this sinking ship that could go down quick. And guess what he says? Nope. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Give a guy a break. Nope. He goes, I'll never, ever do an interview with you, ever. It's never going to ever happen. You screwed up. And I said, James, come on, man. It was a mistake. I was as forthcoming as I could be. I'm honest. It's only an hour. Come on, give me 15 minutes. Nope. And he was not only being very firm with his nope, he told me, oh, you screwed up and all this. I'll never do it again. You'll never get me lined up. And I'm like, dude, I have read so many books where so much bad crap has happened with you and in people. Certainly you had to have some redemption in your heart somewhere and a little bit of compassion for a guy that just screwed up. And he said, nope. And that's what happened, man. I pissed off James Williamson, and to this day, it's one of those times where I kick myself in the ass when I think about it, because what was my problem, man? I mean, what the hell? This is my continuing series of artists that I have pissed off. You can check out the video section on this channel and find out how I pissed off Marky Ramone from the Ramones, Lips from Anvil, and there's going to be more, but I'm not proud of these moments. I just thought they'd make funny little anecdotes in between doing real stories. I mean, it is kind of a real story, right? Thanks for being here. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll come back soon with more rock, punk, and metal tales. I promise. And stay slept and well rested. I have not slept, my friends, for about 2.5 days. Yeah, man. I'm suffering from insomnia. You can hear it in my voice. I'm wearing the shades because they look like hell, to be honest. But I wanted to bring this little tale on this beautiful Friday evening. I do believe it's Friday. Oh, wait. Nope, it's Saturday. It is Saturday. I'm fried. I'm out. Take care. Rock on. Stay strong.